police officers, ambulance officers, firefighters, entrepreneurs, business professionals, nurses, doctors, even DJs, some students. What do all these have in common? Well, I believe that they are all shift workers. What is shift working? Well, if you're interested in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the health hazards associated with night shift, with doing night shift, such as those individuals that I mentioned. I'm sure there are more individuals that do night shift, but these are some that came to my mind. And in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about what is shift work, and then I'm going to talk about 10 health effects it has on your body. And then I'm going to give you a few tips that you can implement right now to assist you if you are a night shift worker or if you know someone who's a night shift worker. Let's get into it. It's Mondays with Mihaela. That's right, me. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love and appreciate your support. For any of you who are new to this channel, my name is Mihaela. I'm a qualified naturopath and I'm absolutely obsessed with anything to do with health, business and overall success. And today I create episodes like this to help you and provide you with simple, savvy and sustainable health hacks to optimize your health. And today I'm talking to all those individuals who are shift workers, in particular night shift workers. I'm here to help you. I'm here to provide you with some simple, savvy and sustainable health hacks so you can optimize your health. Let's get into it. Shift workers serve multiple purposes in the Australian labour market. We would not be able to get help at 2-3 a.m. in the morning if we didn't have our police officers, ambulance, nurses, our firefighters, if we didn't have these individuals available to us 24 hours. And unfortunately, they do put their health at risk to help us. And that is why I'm here today, to help them out and provide them with some health effects that may be happening to their body, and then how to ensure they get the optimal body as they can whilst doing night shift. Let's get into it. So our society would not be the way it is if we didn't run on 24 hours. We have DJs playing till 2-3 a.m. in the morning. We have business professionals writing business plans at 2-3-4 in the morning. We have students studying till the early hours for their exams. But all this affects our body, it affects our health, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So the term shift workers refers to people who work rotating shifts, irregular shifts, evening shifts, afternoon shifts, morning and or night shifts. So it's just different types of shifts. In 2012, there were about 1.5 million people working some kind of shift work as part of their main occupation, and this grew to 1.7 in 2015, and this is in Australia alone. Globally, nearly 0.7 billion individuals engage in shift work regularly as a pattern. So it's not just happening in Australia, it's happening all around the world. I'm going to focus today specifically on night shifts, not just shift work. Shift work in itself has so many different barriers, but today I want to specifically focus on night shift and night shift workers. So what does this mean? It means individuals who are working when the sun is down and who are sleeping when the sun is up or supposed to be sleeping. So shift workers may experience the health hazards also associated with night shift workers that I'm going to talk about today, and can take those facts at the later, those tips that I want to talk about, they can also engage in them. According to the Australian Bureau of Statistics, 204 1,000 individuals regularly work nights, so it is a norm from them. While the majority of us are sleeping, these 200,000 individuals are working hard to keep the economy going, to keep us safe, to be there for us when we do need them. An interesting fact about night shift work is that the World Health Organization has categorized shift work as a potential carcinogenic. So that's a very serious classification, because we know that we have to stay away from carcinogenic to have optimal health. Okay, so this is key to understand that the World Health Organization has declared shift work as a carcinogenic. Okay, so this is something that we need to take in consideration. Sleep isn't just a time to rest and give our bodies and our brain a break. It's a critical biological function that restores and replenishes important body systems. Okay, and this is why sleep is important. And sleep is an individual factor that is highly impacted by shift and night shift workers. So before we get into what health effects it may have on the body, let's look at what is happening inside of your body. What is happening when you're swapping it around, when you're sleeping when the sun is up and when you're working when the sun is down? Well, those individuals who work night shifts, and I have been there, I have worked night shifts, so I understand where you're coming from, and that's why I want to assist you. They do not sleep well, right? So, and then the thing is, they don't sleep in line with their endogenous circadian rhythm. So biological and social time are misaligned. That is the key of what is happening inside of your body and externally. The endogenous circadian rhythm determines the need for sleep and wakefulness, body temperature, heart rate, blood pressure, and hormone levels, particularly cortisol and melatonin, which are key for awake and sleep. Endogenous influence, they call them ZEITGEBERS. Some of them, such as light, in the dark light cycle of a 24-hour day, synchronize the endogenous circadian rhythm with the astronomical solar day. Although any changes to this phase of waking and sleeping caused by night shift workers affects the endogenous circadian rhythm. And the key one is light. Light influences our circadian rhythm. I've spoken about circadian rhythms on numerous occasions. Please listen to those episodes. It's absolutely key to understand our circadian rhythm and how it functions. And in night shift workers, our circadian rhythm is all over the place. And that is where the issue lays. So let's have a look at the 10 effects night shift can have on your health. Number one is the increased risk of breast cancer. And this is a really alarming study, an alarming rate for a lot of females out there who are doing night shift. The increasing rate of breast cancer observed here, I'm talking about the United States and other affluent countries such as here at home in Australia over the past 3 decades cannot be explained by greater awareness and screening tools alone, which is what a lot of individuals say. Most breast cancer cases occur in women with unknown inherent risk factors, leading scientists to be a little bit confused and wonder what is going on. Well, what it is about women's lifestyle in developed countries that makes them so much more likely to develop the disease compared to counterparts in parts of Southeast Asia and Africa, where incidence typically 5 times lower. There is strong evidence for shift work involving circadian rhythm disruption as a factor for developing breast cancer than for chemicals. So they're saying that, yes, okay, chemicals may cause breast cancer, but a misalignment of the circadian rhythm is a lot greater of an influence. Shift workers involve disturbed sleep routines is currently classified as a carcinogenic. This is what they've said here, which can be probably cause cancer in humans. The link was reinforced by studies published recently that further support a causal association. Given the prevalence of shift work in modern societies, this could be an important risk factor. for the population. Women who work overnight are at a much greater risk of contracting breast cancer than those who only work during the day. And it doesn't matter if you work the night shift consistently or it is just once a week. And we all know that most mothers do night shift. It is not just in regards to working for money, but it's also looking after your kids. Most of them are doing night shift work. So think about that also. Number 2 is the increased rate of heart attacks. Yes, heart attacks, that's right, which impacts both men and women. In 2012, a study in a British medical journal concluded that working night shift caused a 7% increase in the likelihood that that person would suffer from a heart attack. The study did not address why the risk was greater for those who worked the night shift, but research believe or recognize that shift work has long been known to disturb the body clock, the circadian rhythm, and is associated with an increased risk of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and diabetes, but it's also associated with vascular disease. So this is huge that night shift is linked to an increased risk of having a heart attack. Number 3 is the increased risk of depression, and we know how big depression is out there in the world. So if we can reduce that, that would be absolutely key. So working the night shift has a negative impact on mental health. Numerous studies have shown that increased risk of depression and mood disorders increased with night shift in particular. Those work the night shift are on a different schedule from the rest of the world, and that may include their families and friends. So I know when I did night shift, I didn't go out as much. I wasn't as social much because I would have a different routine compared to my friends who were working the 9 to 5. I had a totally different routine to what they did, and we hardly caught up. We would catch up once every 2-3 months. So this is saying the American College of Emergency Physicians notes that those who work night shifts may experience social isolation and has been impacted with a major cause of depression. Night work has reported to be associated with various other mental disorders. Okay, so not just depression. Number 4 is the increased risk of workplace injuries, and we know how many injuries occur at work, and we want to stop them or reduce the rate of them happening. So this is where night shift is linked. Working the night shift means not only working against your body's clock, your body's master clock, the circadian rhythm, but you also are turning off how your brain is functioning, how much you're concentrating, how much of a focus you have. You can certainly force yourself to stay awake and move around during the 2, 3, 4 a.m. However, your body wants to shut down. It wants to sleep. And that leads to a reduction of focus, attention, productivity, and just fine motor skills, which are key in some occupations that do night shift. In certain jobs, when you're not able to give your work the complete attention, injury occurs. And this is what we don't want occurring. I found this really interesting. I found this article. It talks about night shift accidents that have occurred throughout our life due to workplace non-focusing or due to individuals being tired and not being able to focus and work as good as they would if it was day shift. So major accidents like the Exxon Valdez oil spill occurred, 3 Mile Island, and the meltdown of Chernobyl took place during the night shift. So these are major events that have had huge effects on the whole world that we know about. Imagine the ones that we don't know about. So being on night shift doesn't just influence reaction times, it changes how we react in challenging situations. So one study actually found out, and this is in regards to police officers, you might find this interesting, is that one study found out that police officers who work night shift are angrier and more hostile to people when they pull them over than daytime officers. Do you have a colleague or a friend, or are you a police officer and you're a bit more grumpier when you work night shift? Interesting, right? Number 5, night shift changes your metabolism. There are so many individuals in Australia that have major issues with your metabolism. Your metabolism is governed by your hormones. The hormone leptin, for example, plays a critical role in regulating your weight, blood sugar, and insulin, which is key, and I keep talking about this. Working night shift interferes with the production of these hormones that can lead to a number of metabolic issues. If these hormones are not getting produced when they're supposed to be getting produced, it causes havoc on your body metabolically. Participants reported consuming more junk food and limited availability of healthy food choices at night also, which means energy intakes did not differ between a day that included a day or night shift, but greater density. So, of the diet was observed on night shift compared to day shift. This is where it took day and night shift individuals. They looked at what they ate. So this study has identified a number of dietary-specific shift-related factors that may contribute to increased unhealthy behaviors of shift work. So if you're on shift work, you're more likely to eat more dense food because you're trying to stay awake. You're more likely to have coffee also. A 2018 research in the National Institute of Health said that when you stay awake all night or otherwise go against your circadian rhythm, your natural body flow, your health may suffer. Long-term disruption of the circadian rhythm has been linked to obesity, diabetes, and other health-related issues related to the body's metabolism system. Working night shift or other non-standard work schedules increases your risk of becoming obese and developing diabetes and other metabolic disorders, which ultimately also raises your risk for heart disease, stroke, and cancer. And that's what another study found. So interesting, the havoc it causes on your metabolism. Let's look at number 6, which is the increased risk of obesity and diabetes. I spoke a little bit about it in the metabolic section, that your risk of obesity increases dramatically. So sleeping during the day and working at night increases your risk for obesity and diabetes, which makes sense if it has that effect on your metabolic system. In the case of night shift workers, these disorders are caused by an imbalance of hormone production, which we spoke about earlier also. The real danger here is even if you are eating a healthy diet, maybe eating a healthy diet, the hormone imbalance can still lead to obesity and diabetes issues, which is alarming and which is scary. Permanent and irregular night shift work were more likely to be associated with overweight or abdominal obesity, which is around the waist area, which is very dangerous, than rotating night shift workers. These associations need to be verified in prospective cohort studies, so it needs to be confirmed there, but that's what they've mentioned there. Another study I found is an analysis of 28 published studies. Night shift work was associated 29% increased risk of becoming obese and overweight. So you have about 30% more chance of being obese if you do work night shift. So for police officers, it's not just those donuts. I'm joking. So that is very interesting in regards to obesity and the risk of diabetes with night shift. Next one, number 7, is increased risk of gastrointestinal issues. And gastrointestinal issues, I get so many individuals who talk to me about their issues with their bellies, with their stomach, with their small intestines, with their whole gastrointestinal tract. So many issues happening out there, and night shift may be making this work worse. If you work a night shift for prolonged periods of time, all the effects mentioned above can accumulate and cause gastrointestinal issues, like some things, people get diarrhea, constipation, even ulcers. That can be compounded, the problems you already have, and lead to a more serious medical concern. So you may just be prone to an extra ulcer here and there, but if you do night shift, you are more prone that you get more ulcers, and it causes a lot more issues later in the long term. In a 2010 study in the Journal of Circadian Rhythms, absolutely love that, they looked at the gastrointestinal complaints in shift working and day working nurses, which was very interesting. So the gastrointestinal complaints were reported by a very high portion, 81.9%. So that means these nurses, no matter what they worked, they were doing the shift work had gastrointestinal issues. And I believe this reflects society overall, especially in Australia. So in the population of nurses in Iran, in regards to this study, the prevalence of GI symptoms was significantly higher in shift work nurses than in day shift nurses, which consists with findings with other geographical locations. They found that gastrointestinal medication was more common with night shift nurses than day shift nurses. So that's a little bit scary right there. Number 8, the suppression of melatonin. I've mentioned melatonin before. It is our nighttime hormone, which we need to get to sleep, which is also an amazing anti-inflammatory. There's so much research being done on it, so many benefits. But let's look into melatonin and night shift. When you work night shift, you are exposed to light during hours of the day when your body is supposed to be dark. Okay, so at night time you are exposed to bright light. Okay, when it's supposed to be dark, and your circadian rhythm is supposed to kick in the melatonin to go to sleep. This reversal of light and dark suppresses melatonin production and release. Melatonin is responsible for controlling the sleep and wake cycle in combination with cortisol. This decrease in melatonin levels means that when you're trying to sleep during the day, you won't sleep deeply and get enough sleep for your body to actually repair itself. As a result, you may suffer from long-term sleep deprivation, which is incredibly bad for your health, okay? And not only that, like I mentioned, melatonin is an absolutely amazing antioxidant, so your oxidative stress may also raise, which can later on cause a number of health issues. Number 9, which is also an obvious one, is your deprivation of vitamin D levels, vitamin D overall, which means your depletion of vitamin D levels is a lot higher as a night shift worker, because you are not out there during the sun to receive the vitamin D. It is absolutely essential for your health. It's absolutely essential. And the thing is a little vitamin D has been known to be a cause in a number of diseases, such as breast cancer, colon cancer, prostate cancer, heart disease, depression, immune system suppression, osteoporosis, and so forth. So you absorb most of the vitamin D from the beautiful sun, which I have shining on me right now. It just literally rose as I was saying that. If you're watching it on YouTube, the sun just went up as I said that, which is beautiful. So you need your vitamin D levels, and if you're working night shift, your vitamin D levels, I would not be surprised if they're in the 20s or 30s, okay, if not even lower, which is a huge issue for your health, for your overall health. So please, if I've got one thing to say, if you're a night shift worker, get your vitamin D levels checked. Number 10 is insomnia. Sleep. Huge sleep issues in the society of night shift workers. Sleep is a huge issue for them. They always talk about it. They always want more, but they also want deeper sleep. So according to the International Classification of Sleep Disorders, shift work disorder is categorized by insomnia or sleeplessness that occurs in association with shift work. So they're saying that you can have a shift work disorder, and one of the key things is not being able to sleep, which is very, very common in not just shift workers, but especially night shift workers. The observed changes in shift work, such as continuous sleep deprivation, stress, and the change of the natural circadian rhythm, is normal cause to have sleep issues. The non-traditional work schedule can distribute a person's circadian rhythm or a biological clock, which I keep talking about. It regulates wakefulness and sleepiness, and it gives us a bit of a time of what to do, when to release hormones, how to release hormones. Sleeplessness can create dangerous work conditions. It is believed to be partly responsible for a number of cases, which I even spoke about earlier, such as the Venezuela nuclear power plant disaster, the Exxon spill on the Alaskan coast in 1989, and also the explosion of the Schibolld radiation stuff that happened. Therefore, the symptoms of shift work disorder shouldn't be taken lightly, such as insomnia. It can result in accidents both on and off the job if not managed properly. So it's saying that a lot of individuals have sleep issues. They have a number of sleep issues when they're working on night shift. Now that I've exposed to you all of these health conditions that can be caused by working night shift, you must be like, oh my, what do I do? Well, there are 5 things that I want to talk to you about next, how to combat shift work, in particular night shift. This is not advice, this is just for your information, and I would highly recommend to work with a practitioner, to work with a professional, because your individualized night shift work is your individualized night shift work. Your body is different to someone else's body and how it reacts and what signs and symptoms you may be developing from the night shift work. But the one thing that I will talk about is, like I mentioned before, is the vitamin D levels. I would recommend that you go out right now and get your vitamin D levels checked. If your doctor will not check your vitamin D levels, you can pay for this. I think it's like 40 Australian dollars or something to get your vitamin D levels test. It is worth it, because if you know what your vitamin D levels are, you know how much to take to get them up, because vitamin D is linked to so many health conditions. That is my number 1 tip. That is my number 1 tip for now, and I'll go into 4 more. So that is number 1, is get your vitamin D levels checked. Number 2 is, I know night shift workers love coffee. I used to love coffee at night, absolutely love it, love the taste, love how it makes me feel, and I'm sure that you also take it to get that little bump up, to feel better, to be a bit more energized. One piece of information that I have for you is avoid caffeine 8 hours before bed for night shift workers. It's different for individuals who are working with the circadian rhythm, different timing, but for individuals who are working at night, avoid caffeine 8 hours before going to bed. So if you're going to bed at 8 a.m., your last coffee should be just before midnight. Okay, avoid having caffeine that late. Number 3 is sunlight exposure. Okay, you need sunlight exposure, so you need to figure out, sit down with a professional, at what certain times you need to be exposed to the light and what certain times you need to turn off the light. And when you're sleeping, block out those lights, block out the light, have a full-on blocked out light, block out curtains, block that light out so nothing disrupts your sleep. There are even your phone that has a little light that can disrupt your sleep. Your TV, if you have one on, that little light being on, that can disrupt your sleep. Your watch may come on, that can disrupt your sleep. Okay, so that's 1 is the vitamin D levels, 2 is the coffee, 3 is light, 4 is a white noise machine. This has helped so many individuals that I know, is when you are going to sleep, is have a white noise machine in the background, because that will allow you to get into a deeper sleep. It will allow you to actually repair your body. Okay, and number 5, the last one that I wanted to talk about is food and fasting. Okay, because our body is not made to digest food in the middle of the night, I would highly recommend that you fast during that time. Like I said, you need to talk about your schedule with your practitioner, with who you're working with, but from the education, from the research that I have done, is to fast between the hours, for example, of 11 p.m. to about 6 a.m. not to eat, because our hormones are not getting released to digest our food. Our risk for obesity, our risk for metabolic function is literally doubling if we are night shift workers. And to reduce it and to work with it, fasting can have absolutely amazing benefits for individuals who are night shift workers. There you have it, a little wrap up about the hazards of working night shift and then what you are able to do to ensure that you have optimal health. I hope I provided you with some amazing information. Do what you do best. Love, like, share, comment, subscribe, rate. Thank you so much for listening. If you know someone who's a night shift worker, share this video with them. It's free and it's filled with absolutely amazing information. Until next Monday, I love you.